Good morning นะครับ everyone. Okay, so on the last classนะครับ we talk about a couple of thingsนะครับ. The first one, I talk about like to let you tell me the time that you have class so that we can set up the makeup class for this coming Wednesday and for next Monday that I have to go to the hospital นะครับ. The second one is that I asked you to um, fill up or to complete all the group registration for your presentation so that I can assign the work for you นะครับ all right now let's talk about our Power BI first นะครับ because before we talk about the next things that we have to discuss more นะครับ all right on the last class we talk about like some techniques in Power BI that we have to use in order to increase some more information. For example, if we have to add some more data, for example, okay, let me just open up my Power BI file first นะครับ so everyone just open up your Power BI ครับ that we use it on the last class นะครับ on the last class what we did was that when we have the information that we get from our Excel file นะครับ or from other sources the things that we have นะครับ on Power BI is just like the data that we also have it in Excel นะครับ or in any databases including the what to say the web page นะครับ that I'll just like talk about it later on now you can see that when we go to our data view นะครับ you can see that some of the data นะครับ we need some more information for example if we say that okay for the basic information that we get from our Excel file we don't have นะครับ we don't have the gross sales at all because the basic information was from order ID product ID unit price quantity นะครับ and discount only so when you have to create a visual นะครับ in our what to say in our report view นะครับ the gross sale นะครับ cannot be created because at most we have the quantity only and if we have just the quantity it's not enough นะครับ there must be some calculation in here some of you may say that but we learn Excel already what should we do if we learn Excel already can we calculate it from Excel and then we just start getting the data once again somebody may do like this นะครับ but anyway you have to know that in some sources of data it's not available for you to increase some more columns นะครับ or increase some more field or add some extra fields in that program นะครับ for example if you have the data that you get from the website นะครับ from the regular website the problem is that you can't do anything with that web page for example if it's a web page of other people that you would like to get the data from the things that you can do is that you can read it only นะครับ into your Power BI and then you have to manage it in Power BI instead or if we have a database นะครับ that the company created already normally in order to create the database นะครับ if we are talking about like the large company they don't create the database by themselves the things that they have is that they have the ready-made database that they purchase the software นะครับ from the external company นะครับ or external vendors the things that you may do is that you download that database to use in your Power BI and do and then create the visualization only นะครับ but in the reality นะครับ as I told you when we have the ready-made database that we purchase the software from the external party you can't adjust the database structure the things that you have to do is that if you want to do the visualization you have to get the data from the database into your Power BI first and then you may add some more columns นะครับ some calculations in the Power BI directly so there comes the concept of what we call column in Power BI นะครับ column in Power BI when we have to talk about the column in Power BI It means that you can create an extra column นะครับ for being the calculation in Power BI doesn't matter it's the constant นะครับ or it's a calculation Power BI can help you manage this kind of thing what does it mean let me just show you some information it's like this if we have the basic table like this and you would like to have an extra column like this you can let Power BI to create this column นะครับ it can be calculation for you นะครับ on this new column it can be assigning a constant value as well what do I mean by constant for example if I say that this one นะครับ in this new column I would like to have the tax rates if I would like to have the what to say commission rate something like that and I say that okay everybody get the same tax rate or every single orders we have the same tax rate or every single sales person get the same commission rate นะครับ it will be the constant that you can assign into this new column straight away or it can be the calculation for example if you would like to calculate the data นะครับ the data from one excuse me from one column to another column for example in here we know that okay the gross sales come from unit price times quantity you can create a column called gross sales and then you can multiply these two values together นะครับ but one thing that you have to know is that the characteristic of the new column นะครับ is that it will appear the value of the calculation in every single record in that table. For example, now we are talking about table orders detail. That means if you create a new column in the orders details, นะครับ it will appear every single row นะครับ in orders detail for your calculation for your constant that you have นะครับ for example if you say that tax rate is 5% นะครับ if you assign 5% it means that in every record of the order details will show with 5% 5% 5% like this นะครับ and so on every single row นะครับ or every single record will must have this kind of data but if you say that okay is it possible to have some various tax rate yes you may but I'll talk about it later นะครับ but you have to know that in here every single record in that table นะครับ when you create a new column already it will show นะครับ it will show that value นะครับ or that calculation for every single records นะครับ so what does it mean why do I have to tell you okay this won't be long นะครับ okay. when we talk about some values for example if we say that okay we would like to find gross sales นะครับ you have to know first that okay gross sale where can we have the gross sales you know that gross sales is the multiplication for the unit price and the quantity นะครับ so that means the gross sale นะครับ must appear in the table where unit price and quantity exist suppose we say that we go to orders table นะครับ we go to orders table and we try to create a new column here นะครับ we try to create a new column here call it as gross sales and you say that gross sale is the multiplication of unit price times quantity in order to create the gross sales here is wrong why is that because in the orders table you may have many products that you sell in that order so gross sales here will be gross sales of one order detail only and if you have created นะครับ the gross sales column in the orders table how can you display many gross sales in the same record. What do I mean? For example, if I say that order ID 10250, okay, let me have a look first. 10250. In orders detail, how many items are there? You can see that in order 10250, there are 3 products that you sell. Product 65, 51, and 41. So you can see that there will be 3 gross sale for 10250. But if you just like go to use orders table to be the place to keep to keep that gross sales, how can one row? Because okay, let me just have a look. In the orders 10250 here, it's just 1 line only. How can you display the gross sales of 3 products in this order in 1 column? It's impossible. So you have to know first that where should be the suitable place to keep that new column. If the column can exist, more than 1 time, it should be displayed, or it should be kept in the suitable table. In this one, for the gross sales, it is great. It is suitable to be kept in the orders detail table. Then you have to create that column in the orders detail table. If you say that, okay, what about gross sale? Can we keep it in suppliers? Let's have a look. If we go to the suppliers table, there's nothing related to the orders at all. How can you calculate the gross sales in here? Because of what? In one supplier, for example, exotic liquids, this company may sell like thousands of products that are the origins of our 10 of thousands of order for us. We just like, how can we keep the gross sales in the supplier table? It's impossible. Then you have to choose first which table that is suitable to keep those data. Why do we have to tell you like this? The reason is because sometimes you can just like use the data. You can use the data in different. You can use the data to be kept in different table as well, or you can refer to a column from another table as well. For example, if we say that the tax rate depends on the orders, because it depends on the country that we sell the product to. So we say that, okay, because we have we say that, okay, we need to have the new column to keep tax rates. And because we say that tax rate depends on the order, then the tax rate should be here. But when we would like to calculate the net sales, we need to calculate the tax amount as well. So what do I mean? If you go to orders detail table, you can see that in the orders detail table here, we may need to have the tax amounts in here that come from the calculation of net sales by the tax rate. And as I told you, the tax rate was kept in the orders table. Then it will be the calculation from the field in different tables. But we store tax amount in the orders detail. If we say that tax amount come from net sales, that is kept in the orders detail table multiplied by tax rate. That is kept in another table. It's possible to. How can we do that? We will talk about it next on. So apart from that one, you have to know that we can have like many calculation from the column, because it is similar to the Excel formula that we created, that I'll just teach you more. Okay, so let's see on the last class what we created for the columns that we had. Okay, so in the last class, I told you that whenever we would like to create a column นะครับ after we locate where to store นะครับ where to store that extra column นะครับ or that new column already นะครับ for example if you say that you would like to keep that data นะครับ you would like to keep that data in the table orders details นะครับ in the orders detail the things that we have to do is that we have to go to the data sheet first นะครับ data tab first this one is wrong if you would like to create นะครับ the new column นะครับ if you would like to create the new column in how to say in the orders detail table then you have to go to data sheet first นะครับ and go to that table that you would like to create a new column นะครับ so in here I go to orders detail table after that นะครับ we can go to home นะครับ and then you see new column นะครับ in the calculation group here นะครับ and after that you just click on the new column Power BI will generate an extra column for you นะครับ on the right hand side here นะครับ you can see that right now we have the extra column already นะครับ in here so the name นะครับ of the column will be matched with here นะครับ now you see the formula bar as if you got it in Microsoft Excel if you would like to rename this column นะครับ you can do it in two different ways the first one in the formula you just type the proper name here นะครับ followed by the formula นะครับ sorry followed by equal sign and followed by the formula ครับ that you like that is the first way to rename the column the second way to rename the column is that you can just like finish the calculation first นะครับ and after that you just go to this column นะครับ right click and then choose rename นะครับ and then you type the proper name now we'll try together นะครับ we said that okay right now I just leave it as the word column นะครับ the name as a column first after that I said that okay in this one suppose this calculation is from quantity นะครับ times unit price quantity times unit price what should we do นะครับ in order to calculate this quantities times to unit price when you would like to use any existing data นะครับ existing column นะครับ in that table the things that you have to do is that you have to type a part of the name in this one when you just like go to the formula bar and you start typing units you can see that right now it shows the current columns that you have this one we can see that we have you can see that we have the column called unit price นะครับ the column called unit price this column is located in the table called orders detail นะครับ so the things that you have to do is that you just double click นะครับ on this name then it will copy นะครับ it will copy this column into the formula after that you just like multiply by the next column this is column quantity you just type a part of it as well and then you can see that in this one นะครับ it appears the existing column นะครับ in this table for you ครับ this one is a calculation already so the formula that we write down right now นะครับ in this one we call it as DAX or data analysis expression data analysis expression or DAX in here it's like a formula in Excel after that นะครับ you just press enter นะครับ you just press enter this expression will create a new column for us you can see that in here the name of column is column if you don't want นะครับ we have two ways that I told you before firstly you retype the new name here นะครับ in the formula bar. Or the second way, we right click นะครับ on the column name and then we choose rename นะครับ then you just type the name, the new name that you have in here. Then you get the new name already, and also in the DAX นะครับ in the DAX the name will be renamed automatically as well นะครับ so these are two different ways in order to rename your column. After you have the column already นะครับ as I told you earlier, when we have to create a new column นะครับ the column can be the calculation like this, or it can be a constant as well นะครับ now we are going to create a new column that is a constant together นะครับ so in order to create the column, the new column with as a constant, it's very easy นะครับ how do we gonna do that นะครับ assume that we would like to create a new column นะครับ on orders table นะครับ on orders table นะครับ firstly we have to go to orders table first นะครับ click on orders นะครับ this is orders table. After that นะครับ assume that I would like to create a new column นะครับ for the tax rate นะครับ I assume that the tax rate for every single orders นะครับ is 0.05 or 5% นะครับ I put 0.05 นะครับ as a constant in here. So the things that I have to do is very easy นะครับ I just go to home นะครับ and then go to the new column นะครับ create the new column here, or you have the table tools, you can click new column, it's the same thing นะครับ okay, home new column or table tools new column, the same thing. Okay, so I go to click on new column. After that นะครับ I will say that I want 5% นะครับ in here when you have to enter any percentage, I recommend you to turn the percentage to be decimal numbers นะครับ because otherwise if you type 5% directly นะครับ in some version of Power BI it thinks that 5% is the text นะครับ it's not calculatable. So my suggestion is that when you have to enter or create a new column นะครับ for something that is percentage, for example if you would like to enter 5% นะครับ you better divide 5 by 100 นะครับ and turn it to be 0.05. it is the best way นะครับ in order to enter the percentage นะครับ now let's see what should we do in case that we would like to assign a new a constant to a column นะครับ you just type the value straight away in here. If we say that okay it's a tax นะครับ tax rate, I rename the column first, tax rate ครับ equals to 0.05. this is to assign the constant นะครับ to a new column. So you can see that after I just like enter the DAX, right now I get the tax rate that is 0.05% นะครับ straight away, 0.05% straight away. Now what if you enter 5%, is it okay นะครับ we just create a new table นะครับ we just create a new table, create a new column. I'll just enter the test tax rate ครับ I name this column as test underscore tax rate ครับ and then I enter 5% ครับ now let's see นะครับ when I press enter you can see that Power BI shows the error. What's wrong? As I told you earlier in here นะครับ in here because percent symbol นะครับ, right now you can see that it shows the red curly line underneath. It means that there must be something wrong. Power BI doesn't know percent symbol in here นะครับ as I told you, if you would like to have 5%, you have to just like turn it to be the decimal numbers instead. You have to turn it to be decimal numbers instead. Somebody said, what if I just like, instead of type 5%, I type 5 and then space percent? Will it work? Okay. You can see that it's the error anyway, right? So this is a trick in Power BI. It doesn't acknowledge percent symbol as a constant. You have to change it to be decimal numbers, decimal points, or real number instead of percent symbol. Okay, so it doesn't work in here. So if you don't want this column anymore, the error column here, you right click, and then you can just like choose delete. And then click delete. It will just like delete this new column out that we don't want. We still have the tax rate 0.05% that we would like to get in here. Okay, right. So this is what we call the column for extra DAX for extra formula in DAX. I will teach you more because you have to use it in the reality as well. Now we just like know how to create the columns, rename the column in different locations first. In different location first. Not every formula that you can use. Okay, thank you, Path. Path just asked me that, is it possible to just like use the formula from Excel? For example, N per PV, something like that. No, it must be the formula that is the format of the DAX in Power BI only. They will be like the limited numbers of the formula that we have. So I'll just like teach you on the next class for the details of the formula that we have to use. Because you can see that the reason why we cannot use Excel, because Power BI is used by the users around the world that might not be Excel users. Some users do not know Excel. They use Power BI to get the data from database. Then they know database. Then the database user might ask the Power BI developers that, can we use the formula from database in Power BI? They will say that not every formula that you can use as well. Same as Excel. So because like we have like various kind of data, so many kind of data. So that's why Power BI will just like set up its common formula to be used in the DAX only. Okay, all right. So for the cheat sheet of the formula in Power BI, how can we have it? In the future, when you finish this course already, for sure there will be new formula coming out. My suggestion is that you can just like Google and type DAX formula, Power BI DAX formula. Then it lists out everything. You just save it as a PDF file or print it and put it on your table. So that whenever you have to use Power BI, you can just like have a look on the formula that is suitable in that situation. All right. Okay. Any other questions before I move on to the next thing that you have to know? Okay. Right. So if you don't have any questions, now I'm going to talk about the next two in Power BI that you can use. In here, I don't use the blank column that I just recently created. Okay. Right. Okay. Now, suppose I want to know I want to know that in this one, I have gross sales, I have net sales, but you can see that the gross sales is the gross sale of each records. Same as net sales, they are net sales of each record only. But I want to know the total. I want to know the total gross sales and total net sales. What should I do? Somebody said, we should create a new column to store total gross sales. to store total gross sales. Can we do that? The answer is no. What do I mean? You can see that for gross sales that you have, when you create a column called gross sales, it shows the gross sales of each record, right? It shows the gross sale of each record. But for the total, it's different. The total here,นะครับ, the total is just like one value only. For example, if we are talking about total gross sales, for the whole table, we have just one total gross sale only. That is the sum of these values, right? So if we create a new column called total gross sales, let's say, suppose I said that it's 1.3 million baht, let's say. The total gross sale will show 1.3 million, 1.3 million. That is duplicating. No one does like this. So that's why if you say that, okay, the total gross sale is just one value, we never create the column here. But any value from the calculation that we have just one value for each table only,นะครับ, we will have another tool that we call it as measure. นะครับ we call it as measure. Measure is one value that we calculate from a specific table. นะครับ it will show just one value only. So for example, in here, if you want to have total gross sale that is 1.3 million, it has just 1.3 million only. And another thing that you have to know, measure is different from column because it will not display in your table. What do I mean? When you go to table tab,นะครับ, the table tab, and then you on the data tab, sorry, and then you go to the table which consists of sum of the measure. You don't see an extra column here because measure is not column. It cannot be displayed as a column like this. How do we gonna see นะครับ the measure? If we have a look for a measure in a table, นะครับ you will see the formula, นะครับ you will see the formula only. But where is the output? You can see the output, นะครับ of the measure in the report view. So that means you have to create, นะครับ you have to create a visual to display that measures results.